Chinua Achebe in his work, Morning, Yet on Creation Day, artistically crafted how African names are products of the circumstances surrounding the bearers. And most times, these names have deep-rooted meanings stemming from the community and the entire family where the person hails from. As such, concepts like sexuality, marriage, and name are ontologically communal in Africa and cannot be traded for anything. Naming is sacred and must be carefully chosen to reflect the circumstances surrounding the bearer. This is highlighted in the African proverb, "A man who lost his name has lost it all." An African name does not only tell the origin of a person or something, rather, it goes beyond it, cutting across its supernatural or divinity, making it celestial, and under no circumstance can it be extinct. The aboriginality of the culture, tradition, and identification of a true Africanist can be seen in the naming nomenclature of that African. Taking a close look at the naming pattern or structure of African verbiage, it is easy to observe a missing link with the present. While the forebears name things or persons according to the role they played or circumstances that surrounded their birth or other peculiar circumstances surrounding their life, the modern African has been hoodwinked by Westernism, treating things like names to suit the Western pattern. On this premise, it is argued that one of the greatest tools the Western imperialists used to besiege Africans psychologically and subconsciously was to subject them to the belief that African names or naming nomenclature holds no waters as far as human existence is concerned and are demonic in nature, and hence the so-called Christianization of African names during the emissary of the religious missionaries. Furthermore, the imperialists further decapitated what was left of the African ontological values in name through false publications made by some imperial anthropologists who were unable to correctly pronounce some of these names, thus altering the aboriginality of such names. For instance, some names of states, cities, and towns in Nigeria were recipients of this inhumane calligraphy. Typical instances include Okozo, originally Okoza Chabunam, may I not be consumed by wildfires. Enugu, originally Enugu, it is a mountain town. Mbaise, originally made up of 5 independent cities who boasted of their rich individual cultures but were falsely made to merge and answer one name. Port Harcourt, originally Iguacha, an Ikwere name for White Hill. Asaba, originally Ahabam, I have chosen well. Most young people may have lost the aesthetic value of these names and may not connect with its deep-seated meanings and the richness of African culture. It has further been devalued, despite this attempt to uproot what is left of the rich African culture. This is a call for all and sundry to revitalize the African culture, especially names gradually going into extinction, by changing the narrative in all spheres of African life and history, by insisting that African Aboriginal names are not demonic or dangerous, rather a part of our rich culture and identity. It is also a call for most African writers who aid Westerners in distorting the rich African cosmology to do the right thing by researching and giving credible information that Africa was the cradle of civilization and was never subservient to Westernism and their postmodern tendencies. Finally, all Africans must persevere in the fight to rewrite what is left of Africa by blending rich African cultures with a little of Westernism to be on terms with modern realities. This in no way enthrones Westernism over Africanism. Rather, it is a way of upholding an African ideology. Remember, Africa must rise.